So someone sent me this video from Secular Talk, which you can't see yet because I wasn't really going to do anything about this, but I saw this comment and I read these replies and I was just thinking, wow, I've found the people who don't actually watch my videos, and yet they talk about me all the time. I hope Sargon and Dave Rubin cover that the majority of censorship that happens in universities is censoring left-wing people. When have I not covered that? When have I ever not covered that? The difference is I don't just frame it as left-wing. I've covered the TERFs, I've covered Jermaine Greer, Peter Tatchell, various comedians, most of which you would consider left-wing. What's her face with the pointy nose? Kate Smurthwaite? I cover it all the time. Usually because it's hilarious that you're eating your own. And I say you and not me because I really would not consider myself part of, like, this side of the left anymore. I'm a centrist now. That's what I am now. When I do a political compass test, I'm right on the fucking line. Not with you guys. Not with the right wing either, but they're a lot more bearable, frankly. Like, when when Ben Shapiro went on Bill Maher, and Bill Maher just like, you're an always Trumper. He's like, no, I'm a sometimes Trumper. Like, sometimes Trump does something good, and I say yay. When he does something bad, I say boo. It's really, really, like, childlike in its simplicity, but it actually put Ben Shapiro on... Why do I keep saying Dave Rubin? It's right on the screen in front of me. But Ben Shapiro was on a higher intellectual level than Bill Maher, and I love Bill Maher. and I'm just sat there going, how can Bill Maher be like, yeah, well, I a lot of the stuff the Democrat Party does sucks, but right now I'm a Democrat. So, okay, you guys are in partisan fighting mode. And that's exactly what this thread is. And I was just sitting thinking, that's amazing. I cover that all the time. Like when Black Lives Matter shut down a gay pride parade, I make videos on that because A, it's hilarious for me, and B, it's a demonstration of how their own ideology is self-contradictory. And it's going to, they can't even stop, they can't get identity politics right. They keep oppressing one another. It's like the idea I don't cover that is ridiculous. I complain that Stephen Tatchell is deplatformed. I complain that Jermaine Greer and Kate Smurthwaite are deplatformed. The thing is, dude, these things happened years ago. Like, it's just well known. It's well known that you guys will like, the vagina monologues were deplatformed. Like, fuck's sake, man. But anyway, I'm going to go through it with Kyle, who's someone I very much enjoy. I watch his videos. There's a new one, so I haven't seen it yet. But, I enjoy his work. I think he does important work. I think he does good work. And I really appreciate the fact that he stood up for his principles when it came to Alex Jones, as did David Pakman and Jimmy Dore, which, bravo to all three of you. I will be not looking forward to the day that YouTube shuts your channels down. But I'm going to put this on 1.2 speed as well, because I don't know why, but whenever you do like this sort of thing, it's just more comfortable to do it faster.
Boy, does this next story bust up some conventional wisdom. Data shows a surprising campus free speech problem. Left-wingers being fired for their opinions.
That's not surprising at all. I guess I didn't cover this because I didn't find this to be surprising. Left-wing is the majority of colleges. Most of them are left-wing, the faculty and the students. It would be weird. I mean, like, it's not the majority of the left wing necessarily that is intersectional, but it is the powerful and the vocal who are. And this happens to left wings all the time. Obviously, it has to. Same way that most terrorism kills other Muslims.
So again, that flies directly in the face of everything you've ever been told. You have to understand, guys, it's all a matter of what gets covered.
That's a great point. It is a matter of what gets covered. The left-wing media is not going to grill the left on its own censorious nature. They're the ones who have just censored Alex Jones. They made it happen. Vox.com is tweeting out, like, yeah, but what about Steven Crowder? It's like, no way, no fucking way. That's like, what about, like, who else? Gavin McGuinness and just a bunch of other people. Lauren Southern probably. It's like, no, we're not just censoring these people because you don't like them. That's totally wrong. But yeah, no, it's just the right isn't paying attention to what's happening in the deep left. Like, they don't spend time in your university circles, and in the mailing lists and the Facebook groups and all that. They don't know when you're deplatforming one another. They don't know when you're screwing one another over. Like the Me Too movement, how many jobs have been lost in the left wing because of Me Too? And it's all left wing people just savaging one another. And it's okay. I mean, I tend not to frame it in just partisan terms, but it's like the right doesn't really see that, you know. And I find that, like, I watch videos from left and right, and so I just find the right more reasonable at the moment. The left has gone kind of glassy-eyed, and they're convinced that they've got this kind of perfect knowledge and understanding of a key facet of human nature, and everything will work because of this. And the left just believes in itself and its own received wisdom far too deeply at the moment, I think, is my problem with it. But sorry, let's carry on.
Where's the onus put? Where's the stress? And oftentimes you have an entire media apparatus on the right searching for the cases where this impacts the right, and so they're able to go out there and make it seem like, oh, this only happens to us.
No, the reason that it looks like it only happens to them is because when it happens to them, they say something because they're anti-censorship. But the left is pro-censorship. They don't care. The far left, not you, not the sort of like centre, middle left people, the far left people. The people who are pro-censorship, pro-shutting down other ideas. The people who've been actively campaigning to get rid of Alex Jones. The people who are not you, man. The people who are, like, not really liberal anymore. They're the people who are the ones running your fucking media and running the agenda. You know, dude, no one cares. Like, no one... There is no Twitter outrage mob when Jermaine Greer gets deplatformed. There is, good, she fucking deserved it for being a TERF. You know, that's... like, it's same with, like, transphobic people, even if they're left-wing, and even if they're not really what one would actually call transphobic. They just hold biologically essentialist views. Like, you... the left goes after us all the time. It's just that the left media won't talk about it. And not even the media, really. It's more the activists that are driving the conversation forward. Because in many ways, the media is just a response to what activist groups are doing. And, I mean, like, UKIP got, like, 22 minutes of coverage on Sky the other day. It was amazing. You know, that's a huge amount, all things considered. And Batten's just out there smashing it. And it's like, everything's going great. But anyway, sorry, Karen.
But when you go to the data, and when you actually look at it empirically, you go, oh, okay, that just turns out not to be true. So this report is from Georgetown University's Free Speech Project. This is nonpartisan. They weren't going into it looking for a specific answer. They just concerned about free speech, and they wanted to take a look. Well, here are the numbers. Listen to this. There were just over 90 incidents since the year 2016 that fit their criteria for a person's free speech being threatened. Now, of those 90...
That's a worryingly large number. How often do you need to exercise your free speech? Like, really, like, in a public venue? You know, most people, maybe once a month, maybe? I mean, like, I practically speaking, not that often. You know, on social media, you can do it every day, obviously. But in a real-world venue, on a university campus, say, how many times a month is that really something that's going to need to be done? And the thing is, free speech is only necessary for unpopular speech to start with. So it's not like the majority of things that are being said are not necessarily unpopular or controversial. For example, if you're giving physics lectures or whatever, lectures on whatever it is, and an expert comes in and they're speaking about a technical subject, probably not going to get deplatformed. But if you start talking about a political subject and you have an unpopular opinion, and it's within a certain range that is justifiable for a bunch of far-left activists, 90 of them... they're the threats to free speech, not just the ones that went on. 90 of them, that's quite a lot, even though there might be like 5,000 colleges. You know, and this is not including as well the chilling effect that these activists are having, and by design, by being as aggressive and sometimes violent as they are, destructive. They're deliberately trying to create a chilling environment, and that's not the least of it. I mean, like, look at Lindsay Shepherd, again, a left-winger, being persecuted by the fucking Stalinist Inquisition. I don't care that a left-winger, or what was then a left-winger, she's now left the left because of the way the left fucking acts. #walk away, we're all a bunch of Russian bots, I guess. We know that you do this to each other, and we're for the people who are being done to. That's, at least that's my conception of what a liberal is. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
About 2/3 took place on college campuses. And their criteria was, okay, is somebody being deplatformed or somebody being fired over allegedly offensive comments? So that seems like a perfectly straightforward criteria. That's the same criteria I would use in this situation. So I agree with the way they set this up. Now, right off the bat, we should notice something. There were 90 incidents since 2016. 90 incidents, and there are 4,583 college and universities in the United States. So what that means is the overwhelming majority of the time, there is no free speech crisis.
Yeah, but the overwhelming majority of the time, you're not having a conversation about controversial political issues. So it's just not the normal thing.
Somebody wants to talk, and they can talk, whether it's offensive or not. People have...
But even then, I don't agree, man. The chilling effect that this is having on campuses it's something that has to be actively fought against to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars in certain cases. And, I mean, I've personally been attacked by Antifa. I mean, though it was weak, it wasn't a good attack, it wasn't, no punches were thrown at me, but, like, still a bunch of masked people bursting in and pulling fire alarms and making as much noise as they can, trying to scare you, like, that's unacceptable, isn't it? I know you think that's unacceptable, and you know that that's going to create a chilling effect for other people. The staff, not even the people directly involved, like the staff themselves, it's like, no, we just don't want to do that. It's just too much work. Stuff happens, we're just not going to it's the idea you can't just like say, well, see, everything's fine. It just happens every now and again. It's a raging mob, but other than that, no one pays attention to them. It's not the way it works, man.
Have the platform, they're able to talk, and throughout the country, in most places, it's a live and let live, and people are speaking their mind. And that's a good thing. I support that. I love that. I'm a free speech absolutist. So right off the bat here, I think it's a fair point to make that this is a little bit overblown. And perhaps I'm guilty of it too, because I cover the free speech stories because I care deeply about that issue.
I don't know if it is overblown, because the university sort of intellectual life is the font of it comes from the university and then filters down throughout society. And so you get people at the bottom end who don't really know why they're saying the things they're saying. They've got the middle class people who have even less idea why they're saying what they're saying. Then you have the professors who know exactly what they're saying and are deliberately saying it to the people in the middle who don't really know, but they have got a degree now. It's not overblown. It affects the entire society. The philosophy of what's happening is the root and spring of every action taken. And so it's massively important. I don't think you can overblow this. I think this is the single most important issue in all of the West at the moment that is producing the problems that we have to fight, we have to try and overcome, is the attitude of how countries could be run coming out of universities. It's not true. It doesn't work. It keeps failing. It's like there's this blind willfulness that overbearing governmental interference in your private life is an acceptable thing. That's not acceptable. And it comes down to your free speech, just everything you do. And there is no limit to where this ideology will go. That can't work. And it's coming from academia, man. And it's taken hold, and it creates a culture of fear there. And it's on purpose, man.
But I think it's objectively true to say, hey, yeah, we do make a little bit more of this than it really is. Because if there's 90 incidents since 2016 and 4,583 colleges and universities in the country, that's really not a crisis. It's just an event here and there.
Yeah, I've already explained. I don't think you can divorce it from the wider context. It's not just an event here and there. And I don't know why you're even defending this. Dude, most of this is going towards left-wingers. If one of them is censored, that's one too many. And it's mostly left-wingers being censored because it's mostly left-wingers in colleges. Why would you defend this? You'd be like, okay, this is clearly a problem with the left, because the left controls universities mostly, and they're the ones doing the persecuting. So why is the left persecuting the left? What's gone wrong here? Oh, we've got an overbearing authoritarian collectivist ideology, and the last liberals being finally chased out of the left as this takes over and further ruins any chance of you getting anywhere. I notice how Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the socialists, her candidates all failed. It looks like the blue wave is crashing. I think that the far left is going to ruin it, and you keep saying we should go farther left. I'm like, I don't think that's the right answer at all. I think going towards the centre right now is the right answer. I'm with you on, like, I'm totally with you on social healthcare. Totally with you. I hate the idea of people going bankrupt because they get ill, especially as everyone's going to need some kind of healthcare during their life. There's not, and if you're the lucky person, then I'm sorry you were oppressed that you had to pay for, like, you know, however much, a small percentage a month to the public good. I'm sorry that you were oppressed that way. On your if you get hit by a car or something, you've never had an illness, then I guess we could refund it to your family. Like, I don't know, you know, if you really have to make a big deal out of it. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. You know, there are other things I think are good ideas, but there are also terrible ideas, and she is also pushing those, and so she is a representative of those ideas. These people need to be stopped. I'm glad the blue wave didn't work. I don't think going further left is the answer.
Where there's a scandal. Okay, that's the first point. Second point is this. Take a look at the ideological breakdown of people who are censored or deplatformed or fired. This is an incredibly important point.
I think I should really skip all this because I've covered most of this stuff.
It's way more the left than the right. Now, that's not me saying that it doesn't matter when it's the right, or it doesn't count when it's the right, because I'm against the right being censored just as much as I'm against the left being censored. But this is me saying it happens way more to the left than it does to the right. So
the left has a real fucking problem, doesn't it? Just like Islam has a problem with terrorism, because most of the victims of Islamic suicide bombers are Muslims. Yeah, I think this is worth talking about, don't you? The majority of people being censored by the left are the left. Well, shit. You know, what are we going to say?
This is Adam Johnson from Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting. He explains here, this is the ideological and demographic breakdown of this. 75% of college faculty fired, resigned, or denied promotion due to political speech in 2017 were politically left.
What were the reasons? What? Denied promotion. I wonder why someone would be denied a promotion in a university campus that's very progressive. Fired and resigned as well. I don't want to even get into it, but
Note New York Times coverage of campus free speech during roughly the same period focused on threats to conservative speech 7-1.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't look so bad if you're persecuting your enemies, because you can point out why you do it. You can say, well, it's justified because they're saying hate speech, or this, or that, or the other. Obviously, I don't agree with them, but that's their argument. They think, well, it's justified. This person's a hate monger. They're going to hurt minorities. We can't allow hurt minorities to exist. Blah, blah, blah. What can they say about a left-winger doing it?
So again, this is one of those instances of how the media portrays it versus what's actually happening. So you get a misperception of what's really going on.
Yeah, the left-wing media is lying to you. The right-wing media is telling you about half of the story, as you would expect, and the left-wing media is just lying to you about your half of the story. And then some surprise data comes out. Oh, there's mostly left-wingers being censored. Yes! Who is doing the censoring? That's the question.
It's like when they say Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. What? That's not true. Well, when all you do is cover the negative things about Iran, and you never ever cover the negative things about Saudi Arabia and what they're doing, well then yeah, somebody could walk away going, I think Iran's the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. I heard it repeatedly, and I see all these stories about how terrible Iran is. Yeah, but there's a lie by omission there. The lie by omission is you didn't say shit about Saudi Arabia, and if you were covering this objectively, there would be more negative stories about Saudi Arabia. So you get the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah. The omission that we have here is who's doing the censoring. That's the question. You guys need to stand up to the far left intersectional socialist commie type loons. That's what you need to do. That's what I've been doing, and you know that they need to be fought, but you just think that they're a fringe who don't control anything. Dude, that's not true. They're censoring your types as well as mine, as well as the right-wingers, as well as the crazy loons. They're just censors. And I know you're a free speech absolutist. I know you're against censorship in all forms. So let's stop making excuses for the far left.